this cracker of a semi-final, and they progress to their first ever World Cup final. A big win for them there. The whole country was behind them. Match being played at Auckland, and it got really close. Grant Elliott, the hero for them. Many cameos played. Of course, Brendan McCullum giving them the start that they needed, chasing 298 in just 43 overs against South Africa. But in the end, it got close, and we can see South African players absolutely heartbroken. Remember, both of these teams, underachievers at the World Cup knockout stage. South Africa had won their first knockout game ever and progressed to the semi-finals, but that's where it ends for them. Jubilation on one side, absolute heartbreak on the other. Faf du Plessis, Morne Morkel, Captain AB de Villiers, absolutely broken. They gave it their all. Both teams gave it their all, and in the end, there had to be one winner, and that winner is New Zealand on the day. A thriller between the co-hosts and South Africa in Auckland. All right, Andrew Simons, two-time World Cup champion, former Indian cricketer Nikhil Chopra with me in the studio. Joining us from Sydney is Boria Majumdar, consulting editor. Boria, what a semi-final. I mean, we didn't know till the very end which team is going to go through.
Absolutely. I was hearing you just say what you said. You said it very well. You know, one side is jubilation, one side is heartbreak. This could not. We wanted a close semi-final. Remember, Shivani? All of us wanted a close semi-final. This is the match of the World Cup. It was stunning. I mean, you know, each of us, India was not playing. Each of us was sort of at the edge of our seats, waiting for the next action. Having said that, if you deconstruct it, think about AB de Villiers, think of the runouts, think of the catch drops, even that Behardine-Dubini collision at that last 10. Dale Steyn missing the wicket. What do you have to say for South Africa? Did they choke? Did that sea tag will once again come to haunt them? I don't know, but all of New Zealand, the party will just start.
There was definitely moments in this match that could have haunted either side. Of course, the run out for Guptill was one of those moments for New Zealand. But there were moments from South Africa's side as well, especially that collision to try and get Grant Elliott out. And if that wicket had been taken, I think the result would have been different. But let's just take a quick look at the scorecard before we go any further. Grant Elliott, as I mentioned, 84 not out. He struck through. Others came and went. McCullum had a half-century. Corey Anderson had a half-century. But it was required that one man sticks through and plays those 43 overs. And that man today was Grant Elliott. He actually showed a lot of composure trying to get to that win today. Nikhil, that Behardine-Dubini collision, Donald Klusner moment part 2, I mean, such a moment reduces you to a losing side.
Absolutely, history getting repeated. They had the opportunities, with the run out, that catch. It was game over. You had somebody batting on 78, you need about 14 of the last over, set batsman in, you take that catch, you're home free. No matter how small a ground is, Shivani, for any new man walking in to get 14 of 6 deliveries and Dale Steyn bowling is never easy. But I guess they had their moments, they let it slip again, and history gets repeated.
South Africa played well, isn't it? I mean, even their batting innings as well. They got a lot in the last 15-20 overs, and then they gave a tough fight in the bowling innings as well. Would it be unfair to use the C word, Andrew, or do you think they did choke?
Yeah, well, they had, I reckon, 4 or 5 chances where they could have changed the game themselves. Forget about the rain, forget about anything like that. But if you get 4 or 5 chances, you've got to take them, or take a high percentage of them. And they didn't do that. The rain played a part in the game, there's no doubt about that, because they were set to build a really big total. It could have been 370, 380. And then you look at New Zealand's effort. If New Zealand lose that game, Brendan McCullum's got a lot to answer for, because he got the game
set up for them. And then lost his wicket on a very bad shot.
That's right. It was unnecessary. He'd got the rate down. He was in. He was going. He had to bat for as many overs as he could once he'd gotten away to that start. But what an innings from Elliott. Incredible composure. He seems very calm when he bats. So he should be very proud of himself, and he's a man to watch in the final, I think.
Absolutely. Well, New Zealand, what a big moment it is for them, isn't it? They've been wanting that World Cup trophy for a long time. They've been underachievers at this stage. This time, unbeaten in the group stage and convincing wins now. This one came close, but what matters is that in the end, they're in their first ever final. And of course, await the winner of Australia versus India. Now let me go across to former England captain Nasser Hussain, who's also joining us from Sydney. Nasser, New Zealand started well, faltered a little, but in the end, a good run chase for them.
Yeah, brilliant. I thought they were brilliant with the new ball, actually. Well captained by McCullum. The ball swung around. He kept his slips in. And the only issue for them was having that one bowler short. Their fifth bowler went round the park a bit. But I thought McCullum at the top was absolutely outstanding. And then to chase those runs down with the Duckworth-Lewis method, I think the rain delay did help them slightly. I know Miller came in and smashed it everywhere, but it just kept A.B. de Villiers off strike. And I think A.B. de Villiers was the sort of guy that if he had kept going, could have possibly put that target beyond New Zealand.
Right, Nasser, have you ever seen 5 slips in operation in a World Cup semi-final?
No, but you knew you were going to get it with Brendan McCullum. He's the most positive, and he doesn't do it for show. He does it because he realises in this World Cup, with A.B. de Villiers at number 5, you need to take early wickets. You need to, otherwise in those last 15 overs against South Africa, they've proven time and time again that they're going to smash it. They smashed it anyway today, but that's why McCullum does it. He doesn't do it for show, and he's also backing his bowlers. He's saying to his bowlers, I believe you can take wickets, and that sends a message to them and leaves them with a lot of confidence.
Right, the batting innings for both New Zealand and South Africa seemed very similar, isn't it? Because they had those 50s, but that one big knock was actually eluding. In the end, Grant Elliott, his 84 made all the difference because you needed one man to keep continuing. And like Andrew mentioned, McCullum came and, didn't carry on his bat. That could have costed New Zealand.
And that 84, Shivani, when you're batting first and when you're batting second, when you're chasing, it makes a world of a difference. It's all the pressure. You're batting with Dan Vittori. You know that those 6 deliveries in the end, or you're looking to build up, you're calculating whose overs, how many overs are left, which are my bowlers to target. When you're chasing and you get 84 in a World Cup semi-final, it's a different ball game altogether. The pressure, how you handle yourself. We were watching the game together, Andrew, and Andrew said a very important thing. This guy is very composed.
Yeah,
even last 3 overs to go, he's very calm. He might just see the game through.
Yeah, isn't it? It was written all over him. He wasn't panicking, and there were a few shots that could have been a hit and a miss, but he had to go for shots.
Oh, he did. I mean, he had to attack that total. But the way he went about it, he seemed to be very calculating, and he wasn't yelling at his batting partner or anything like that. It wasn't, in hysterics asking for a drink or a towel or gloves or anything. He was very calm. You could see each ball he'd made a decision in what he was going to do. And I think that shows a lot of maturity, and he's not that old a man either. I think he's mid-20s, so he's still got a lot of cricket left in him. So that's an innings he can draw on for the rest of his career.
And I think Steyn felt the heat when he got hit. The length was probably not the best. The slow one, close to halfway down track, small ground. You have somebody batting on 80. You got to aim for the toes, even if you miss low full toss at that moment in time. And you watched. And each time Elliott was looking to force, he was well within the crease. He was using the depth of the crease, and you knew anything short, he'll get more than enough time to just cart it over mid-wicket or square leg. So I guess maybe the South Africans had the opportunity, Shivani, but I guess...
it did look for a while before, I think maybe when they were approaching the last 3 or 2 overs, that South Africa might as well just pull it because there was intense pressure. They'd lost a couple of wickets. But being in a World Cup final, Boria, we've talked about it endlessly. I remember when I was in New Zealand and Australia as well, everyone was talking about how it could well be an India-New Zealand final, isn't it? That's what everyone was rooting for. New Zealand first ever World Cup final means a big deal to them, isn't it?
Huge deal. I mean, big is a huge understatement. I mean, come on. I mean, it's there. They won the Rugby World Cup in 2011 in Auckland. They've now made it to the final of the Cricket World Cup in Auckland. I mean, can't be better for the Kiwis than this. I think cricket matches are won because of moments, Shivani. One moment, A.B. de Villiers, the world's best ever fielder, the Superman, according to Shane Warne, misses that run out. He had 3 chances there. He could have pulled the stump out. Corey Anderson gone. Missed it. Then that Behardine-Dumini collision at the very end. Once again, missed it. South Africa missed their moments. Yes, they were flinging themselves on the field. Having said that, South Africa missed their moments. And New Zealand, even Dan Vittori, talk about him, that 4 that he hit of Dale Steyn. How much does it take of a Dan Vittori, not the best batsman, to pull it off time and again? New Zealand, best team in this competition. unbeaten along with India, making it to the World Cup final. Big statement, they'll come here at the MCG. Very, very happy for them. Their cricket takes a big step forward.
Yeah, I mean, we've been discussing that off air, of course, you know, with our panelists, with everyone around. Have New Zealand been the best team in the World Cup? Andrew, you go first.
Oh, okay.
Why such hesitation?
No, I just didn't expect that question. No, I think, yeah, going on that game there, I think probably right. You know, we talked sort of a couple of days ago about there hasn't been a team that's chased a big total down in this World Cup yet, and New Zealand to go about that today in such a big game, I think that shows probably their class. They do have that bit of an X factor now, I think, that other teams are going to say, you know, we've got to really respect these blokes and make sure we've got everything crossed off and we know where we're bowling to each bowler and how we're going to attack them as a batting unit. So they've got some real class about that side now.
What I like about them, Nikhil, is that they already have a killer bowling attack. You know, what Nasser coined that a few days ago as well. And they have everyone in their batting lineup, you know, more or less in good form. Of course, they've had the highest score. McCullum is always dangerous. So, in a way, in totality, even though they have the problem with the fifth bowler, which we could see today as well, they're actually looking the most in form and the most balanced side.
Well, without a doubt. And if you've got somebody like Elliott, you know, in the middle order who holds that innings together. And
there was pressure on him too, though.
Well, without a doubt. And takes the game deep. And, you know, you could clearly make out the bowlers will sometime also buckle under pressure, and that's exactly what happened. He bowled a couple in his zone and they were put away in the park. Big outfields is a different case and scenario. I just felt even when Tahir was bowling, when the new man came out to bat, you know, the second delivery when the new batsman was batting, he was too quick. You're making the life easier for the new man walking in because you're not going to turn the ball when you're bowling at that speed. All you had to do is just put bat to ball and you got a 4 off mid-wicket. So, you know, these small little things, like Boria said, Shivani, is these moments that change the course of the game on its head. And I guess South Africa had the opportunities, but gone. But you're absolutely right. In terms of balance of the side, New Zealand looking very, very dangerous.
Yeah, we talked about moments. Of course, we saw everything, you know, from the South African fielders, especially in the second innings. They were, you know, they were monitoring that boundary so well. Steyn, right after an over, was lunging to save a boundary. So the commitment was there. But then in the end, those key moments perhaps, that run out and that catch, of course, will go down to haunt them. Guptill's run out could have been a moment that haunted New Zealand, but they've come out and won the semi-final, going into their first ever World Cup final. Let's listen in to what former Sri Lankan player Russell Arnold had to say about New Zealand's win.
New Zealand in the World Cup final to be played at the MCG. Perennial semi-finalists and underachievers in last 4. Now, it's their time. Unbeaten so far in the competition, Brendan McCullum's men have really taken the World Cup by the scruff of the neck. Russell, impressed by them?
Very impressed. I've been out here, in New Zealand since December, and I've seen them gradually pick up their form, the way they prepared, the way they rested the players, and as it went on, come January, come February, and now March, game has got better and better. Different players are standing up. Players who were struggling in January are now coming up with match-winning performances. Trent Bolt, he's been outstanding. Martin Guptill, he was struggling through January and February. Look at him. So they're doing lots of things right. They're playing positive cricket and they're playing wonderful cricket in the sense there's no arrogance. There's a lot of aggression, yes, but with bat and ball, and it's beautiful cricket to watch them. So I've enjoyed watching New Zealand, and seeing them in the final is actually pleasing.
You know, word on Daniel Vittori, I mean, sensational. That catch in the quarter-final, the way he's bowled, the way he conducts himself. Such a senior statesman, but playing such fantastic cricket.
Same thing we've been getting from him for what, 15 to 20 years. It's been amazing. 30 runs. If he has a bad day, he goes for 40 runs. What do you do? And if you in that bowling unit with such good seam bowlers, they got the extra pace. Daniel Vittori makes such a big difference. He's experienced too, past captain, and one of the better guys to have around. Very, very, very happy for Daniel Vittori to see him still keep going.
Word on Brendan McCullum, I mean, he's been great as a leader. He's been great as a batsman. He's conducted himself with a lot of panache. Big moment for him coming up in the final, but word on him as captain?
Exciting captain. Positive all the time. He leads from the front. Even if New Zealand are smashing the opposition, he's still chasing balls, diving around so that he can gain the respect. And one thing I know about Brendan McCullum is doesn't focus too much on the analytical side. It's about enjoying cricket. He's trying to keep it simple, and they've got something nice going there where he tends to trust everyone around him. They're all happy in a circle, which rarely you see in a team. You know this team setup. If you want to play with your friends, generally you have to play in the park. But in a team, you do get different people who come together for a cause. But this New Zealand team seems to be very, very happy. And I think that goes down to how McCullum plays his cricket with his bat. And even with the ball, when they're in the field, attacking fields, attacking all the time. Tim Southee, he's happy to let him go for 80 runs, but he picks up those 2-3 crucial wickets. And McCullum backs his bowlers. That's very good to see.
Final question. New Zealand has played all its matches at home. Final match at the MCG. How much of a difference is that? And do you think that will sort of put them a little bit under pressure in that final?
Certainly would be, because the expectations are on New Zealand. Now back home, it's generally with the All Blacks, but this time around people are behind New Zealand, which the cricket team is not used to. They are expected to win, and that will be a burden itself. Yes, moving from New Zealand to play at the MCG, different conditions, if you start thinking about it, it can be a problem. So it's all about clearing your mind and just focusing on what you need to do. Take off all those distractions of what they're expected to do, what they've been doing, where they're playing. Just get out there and, as Brendan McCullum says, just enjoy the cricket.
Catches dropped, run-outs missed, and the bowling wasn't really up to the mark as well. Let me pose that question to Saurav Ganguly, former India captain, joining us from Auckland, where this match was played. Saurav, was it South Africa who lost this match or New Zealand who won it?
I've seen some bizarre things on a cricket field today, Shivani, when South Africa were defending. And I'm totally with Andrew Simons. Andrew Simons said after the game against Sri Lanka that South Africa wait for the big game, and we were telling him, no, this South Africa is different. This South Africa is no different. Catches dropped, field placements were unbelievable. Vittori had a leg slip, I don't know for what, and he kept hitting through the point region where there was no fielder. The number of boundaries AB de Villiers gave away every over, he just had to beat the fielder, and it went for 4. I've not seen any side chase 298 in 43 overs so easily. There have been some big chases. I've been a part of big chases, but just New Zealand cruised it. You might say it went to the last over, they hit a 6, but the game was over a lot before that. And South Africa will have themselves to blame because this has been a really, really poor effort from a team who are supposed to be very, very good. It's completely in the mind, the way they've gone about the job. Catches, Hashim Amla at deep mid-wicket, Behradeen at deep square leg. It's just unbelievable. They didn't deserve to win, and New Zealand are the rightful winners to the final.
Yes, so many times, Saurav, through the run-up to the World Cup, we talked about how this could be South Africa's time. You mentioned that you were, maybe expecting a little bit more from them, but disappointing in the end that they have to be losers once again in the semi-final stage.
Yeah, I don't think I'll mention it again, and I say that to all our experts on television, that I expected this was South Africa's World Cup, but I didn't expect South Africa to play this cricket. Yes, South Africa might get out early, South Africa might bowl poorly, which they did tonight, but their out cricket was just unbelievable. Run-outs, drop catches. It was really, really bad to watch, and I think they don't deserve to get to the finals. They know it. They know at the back of their mind, AB de Villiers knows, Hashim Amla knows, Behradeen knows, Dale Steyn knows that they don't deserve to get to the World Cup final.
So Saurav, explain me this. You're saying they don't deserve, they played poor cricket. And these are world-class cricketers, isn't it? AB de Villiers, of course, leading world batsman when it comes to dominating oppositions. As a collective unit, what happens? Is it just in the mind, as you're saying that, but such good international cricketers, is it just the moment?
No, they freeze. I think they freeze at the moment. It's simple as that. The catch Behradeen dropped. It's just at this level. You can't drop them. Hashim Amla. Neither did he go for the ball. There was no communication. JP Duminy crashed into Behradeen. It was really a poor side actually. You don't get to watch it that much on TV, but when you stay at the ground and you watch it, when you get to see the whole view of the ground, it was really poor effort from South Africa. You got to give credit to the way Brendan McCullum played. You got to give credit to the way Grant Elliott played, Corey Anderson played, but South African bowlings and more so South African fielding just didn't help the cause. And I'm telling again, I've not seen any side get 298 in 43 overs so easily. You scored at 7.5 runs an over right throughout the innings, and that's not acceptable.
Right, Andrew, taking on from what Saurav said, I know you're very happy that South Africa have not won. You said that you don't want them to win anything, but what Saurav is saying obviously has a resonance with any cricketer to be in that stage and then, collectively fail.
One thing I'll say is I told you that this was going to happen, didn't I? I said it's in their heads. When they get into tight situations, they freeze. And that's what happened today. There was, 4 or 5 things there they didn't really go at with any sort of complete conviction. And it's cost them. It's cost them a spot in a World Cup final. They've only got themselves to blame. They had opportunities to win the game and they didn't take them.
Yep. Saurav, what about New Zealand? Brendan McCullum, Corey Anderson, half centuries, but the match was still very much in the balance, isn't it? It's really Grant Elliott who stitched the partnership that he needed to, 84 not out, took them to the win and didn't lose his wicket, and that he's really the hero for them today.
Shivani, when a side batting first gets 300, the match will always stay in the balance. Very rarely it will be one-sided games, and I'm not surprised with the game staying in balance right throughout. I'm surprised with the way the balance has tilted towards New Zealand, because any other side would have won this game. South Africa, if they would have taken the catches, the run out of Corey Anderson, which AB de Villiers didn't pick the ball, even the keeper didn't collect a throw properly. Yeah. Hashim Amla not taking a catch under pressure, deep square leg, Behradeen not taking a catch under pressure. No, it's just South Africa pushed that balance towards New Zealand. Catches taken, especially Grant Elliott at that stage. 2 catches at that stage for Grant Elliott. Game would have been over. New batsman, a game over for New Zealand. But then you don't win catches, you don't help yourself. The opposition is going to win.